This week in Speedway sees Birmingham all but confirmed in top spot, and as such our thoughts turn to who do we want to meet in the semi-final. This in turn brings a dilemma, doesn't it, Joseph?
Yes, it does. We find ourselves hoping for prelude success so that we get the chance to meet them.
This is true, and also on the Cradley front, I'm hearing news that the Tyler Govia deal is off, and I've got to wonder, how long before Mr. Patchett blames this on Birmingham? And also, in other news, Wolves have made the playoffs.
Third place looking likely for Wolves, barring a miracle, but will it be Bellevue, Poole or Swindon that they meet in the semi-finals?
Or perhaps even Lakeside.
Possibly.
There we go. Well, good evening, gentlemen. In the studio tonight we have the Guru.
Good evening.
He's on the floor, is he?
Pull your mic on this time. Good evening.
Who's just partaking in a helium balloon by the sounds of it. We've got Joseph.
Hi.
And we've got Matt Buck.
Good evening.
And it's time for me to make an apology now, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to. I haven't got
Looks
one,
like it is.
No. I'll apologise to everybody on the South Coast who I terrorised last Tuesday on the motorbike that I hired for the day, but less of that, I think. It was rather fun. Right, okay, so Wolverhampton, they've got there after all that talk, and we wondered and we hoped, and well, you hoped, I didn't care really, if I'm honest. Harsh. You there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I questioned last week, didn't I, whether Wolves were going to blow it, and somebody at King's Lynn must have been eavesdropping on the show, because maximum points since then. The big win at King's Lynn last Thursday to pick up the 4 points, then very comfortable win over a really poor King's Lynn team in the first meeting on Monday, followed by probably a surprisingly more comfortable win over Swindon in the second meeting. You know, Swindon were poor last time they came to Monmouth Green, but I thought I was expecting a little bit more from them, and there was, but it was still a fairly straightforward enough victory for Peter Adams' side to get the maximum points and book the place in the top four for the playoffs.
How much a part do you think the Ty Woffington factor is played in this sort of resurgence?
Well, certainly off the track. You know, the last few meetings where Ty's been back at the side, I think it's really galvanised the crowd. You know, the crowd has definitely gone up since he came back. And in fairness, you know, his performances have been probably not unexpectedly better than Jonas Kilmacorby, who missed most of the season anyway through injury, but I think was struggling a little bit on his return. How much of that was down to the fact that he may possibly have known that Ty was going to be replacing at some point within the next few weeks, might have played a factor, but it's certainly, you know, you can't argue that it's made Wolves stronger in going into the run-in.
Possibly giving you a chance in the playoffs.
Well, I think so. I think Wolves will fancy their chances against anybody really in that top four. As I say, I tend to think it's probably going to be Poole that Wolves meet, because I still think Bellevue will finish top.
That'd be a big match.
It will be a big match, yeah, and I think Wolves are more than capable of taking Poole over two legs. They've got a few problems at the moment. Obviously, Chris Holden pulled out of the meeting on Monday at Leicester. Hans Hansen's obviously sustained an injury now as well, so maybe a little bit of walking wounded for Poole.
And has the cut-off point for signing riders
yes,
passed out?
It has passed now. Yeah, so they can't make any new signings. So it's either guests or odd replacement if you're missing anybody, which isn't an ideal situation to go in for the playoffs.
Okay. We've got a few matches that we're watching today. We ought to mention we have got, in particular, the match that you're going to be interested in, I guess, is going to be Poole versus Bellevue. That's a cracking match that's going to be, you would think.
Well, the two of them had a really good meeting on Monday up at Bellevue, which Poole won fairly comfortably. So, I'm sure no doubt it'll be the same again. And of course, Bellevue have already been to Poole and won. So
yeah. Now, playing devil's advocate, if Bellevue do win at Poole, do you think they might take a chance and pick them in the semi-final?
I think at the moment Bellevue would probably pick Poole over Wolves, because I think Poole are vulnerable. I do tend to think that whoever finishes top will pick the fourth place team, whether that's Swindon or Lakeside. It's looking like it's going to be Swindon now.
But Swindon can be quite dangerous, can't they? Well, they all can, of course. But
Well, Swindon, of course, have already won at Bellevue this season, so.
that'll
But
be quite a gamble as well. I'm going to ask Webby if you'll get the some of those updates up for us, and particularly the Paul versus Bellevue match. It would be nice to.
I should
see
say as well,
how that's going.
congratulations to Neil Everson for setting the new track record on Monday.
Really?
52.5.
Wow, that's fast.
When I started watching Speedway, it was about 59, the track record, so that
Yeah.
just shows how quick the bikes have become in the last 20 odd years.
You put it down to the bikes, not the riders.
Maybe a bit of both.
I think it's the bikes.
Yeah, I'd say probably 70-30 in one direction.
And also probably the track being in just the right sort of condition at a given time to.
Well,
to
in
get the
fairness,
right-
the track size from when I started has changed to what it is now. So
Who's he taking the record off? Who had
Darcy
it?
Ward.
Darcy
So
Ward.
Darcy
right.
Ward said it a couple of years ago, so it's been a few years now since the Wolves riders held the record.
Well, it's interesting. Poole versus Bellevue at the moment. It's Poole Pirates 10. Chris Holder is riding, by the way. And Bellevue Ace is 8 after. That's going to be 3 heats, isn't it?
Mhm,
Yeah.
That's right.
So the only heat winner that Bellevue have had so far is Richie Worrell, beating Bjarne Pedersen. And
The new
Carl
fast track
Noonan.
rider behind Pedersen.
Yeah, it's a joke, isn't it?
He hasn't done quite as well as people thought, to be honest, in the reserve berth. Didn't do so well on Monday.
No. And Christoph Kasperzak, guesting, has scored a win for Paul. Interesting about Bjarne Pedersen. He's one of the draft of riders that have ended up at Peterborough. Tom Perry being one of the riders going the other direction.
Kenneth Bier is the rider, by the way, not
Okay.
not
Yes.
Pedersen. So I'd like to know whether they've managed to get him into a Premier
Yeah.
League. So I know he had a poor season
do,
for Kings
yeah.
doing last year, but I don't think he had that bad a season.
I'm going
so.
to put my glasses back on. Yeah, but we'll probably talk about that a bit later. We've got a few more matches that we're watching tonight. So, are you ready? Are you ready, Webby, to be quick on the draw here?
Am I?
Yeah.
For what? Sorry. I wasn't
Swindon
listening.
versus Leicester
Oh,
would be the first.
not that quick.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get that up in a second.
Okay, so we're going to go through all of these matches as quickly as we can. But we're watching Swindon versus Leicester, Kings Lynn versus Lakeside, Poole versus Bellevue, as you know, Sheffield versus Rye House, and of particular importance to Birmingham fans, the Isle of Wight versus Eastbourne. Don't think the Isle of
Bit
Wight.
of a derby.
Yeah, well, I suppose
What
it
did
is.
you say?
I don't imagine the Isle of Wight beating Eastbourne,
I can't see it now.
and I thought
Can't say
they were a bit disappointing last night.
I was expecting a bit more from the Isle of Wight, if I'm honest.
I thought they gave up before they got here.
One of the few, probably the only meeting this season, or at least one of the very few meetings where the opposition reserves have outscored the Birmingham reserves. But really, it was the top end.
Well, their two reserves outscored our one reserve.
That's
really,
fair, so.
I mean, that's sort of, if you're going to be honest. So we got Swindon versus Poole.
Swindon
Swindon
versus
versus
Lakeside,
Leicester.
sorry. Leicester,
Swindon
even,
versus
yeah.
Leicester.
Leicester.
We need that'd be great, thank you. And the score currently there is
Sorry,
suspense.
it's being run by Steam, I think. tonight.
It's
There we go.
Swindon 50. Is that a result?
No, that's
Nah,
the result.
that's the wrong
That's last
one.
week's
match.
That's
That's
last
that.
week's. What's that?
Dear me.
They're doing
We
pretty
can't
well.
get the staff, can you? You
They're doing
cannot
pretty
get
well,
the staff.
Well, you can, but you got to pay him. That's the rub.
While
We'll do this one and then we'll have a little chat.
while we're waiting, speaking of Swindon, they got the new track go ahead.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
So I
yeah,
bet there's a great atmosphere. There's going to be a really buoyant atmosphere at Swindon today. So
you would imagine so. You would hope so. Swindon 13, Leicester 11. That's not. That's
well, don't forget Leicester won there earlier in the season. So
Jason Doyle and Nick Morris both scoring heat wins for Swindon, and another ex-Brummy, Paul Stark, scoring a heat win for Leicester, as did Michael Palm Toft. In fact, Michael Palm Toft's actually on a maximum at the moment. A 2-ride maximum. Okay, paid maximum, I should say. Swindon, they've got the go-ahead for their new track.
yep,
And
next door's the old one, of course. So.
yeah. And we understand that track work could well start next week. Is that right?
Could start soon.
Soon.
I don't know how
Okay.
soon. I
That's
think
a big word, isn't it?
their aim. I believe is for it to be ready to be handed over next April. So the chances are next season Swindon may well run their first few matches away from home and then catch up on the backlog.
Do a Bellevue in it, in essence. Hasn't hurt Bellevue so far.
No, it hasn't really. So.
Oh well, that's there's some good news spinning around Speedway at the moment, isn't there? We've got Ty Woffington, the world champion, back in this country.
Well, for now he is. At least,
But even so, it's happening as we speak. He's still in the good position to become world champion. Perhaps we'll have a look at that in a few moments' time. Also, we've got up and coming riders, a lot of good up and coming riders, and really looking forward to the under 19 at Birmingham.
I'm looking. I think that's going to be a really good meeting.
It's going to be a cracking meeting, I think. And obviously Swindon getting their track sorted out. Coventry a stay of execution.
Yeah.
It's nice to
Swindon one's is got mixed thoughts on the Swindon one because it's obviously great that they're going to get a new venue. But I mean, obviously, my memories of Swindon have been there when Wolves won the league in 2009. So, that's
you can say the same about Leicester. You can say the same about Birmingham. You can say the same about Coventry, of course. I mean, hopefully they will get a new track at some point. So, that time, as they say, marches on. Before we go any further, we ought to say if you guys want to participate, we would love that. You can talk to us on our shout box on sports-radio.co.uk. I forgot our address for a second there.
You can join straight in with the chat. If you go to srbradio.co.uk or srbradio.com/chat/2. Or just follow the links to chat. We'll be there.
Yeah. You can also talk to us on Twitter.
On Twitter, srbradio.com.
And on Facebook.
It's www.facebook.com/Brummies.
It's all the littles.
And you can actually see us if you go to that one.
If you want to, of course.
If you really want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have a bit of a shock.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We haven't actually got the camera on, Webby, so you're okay.
It's looking like your shirt, actually.
Yeah. Oh, we did try it, but that's why we've only got one camera.
Yeah, okay. He's good.
He's looking at Webby's back, to be fair, so it's probably not all too bad.
The best feature.
We're lucky that actually he's not on holiday, but
that's next week.
That's another story. Anyway, any road up. We've touched on it. Let's talk about the GP. Another ex-Brummie won the thing. Jason Doyle. I mean, the guy's on fire at the moment.
He could win it, Jason Doyle.
That's the first time you've admitted that, because I thought that last time.
Yeah, he's second at the moment.
Yeah.
He's riding on the crest of a wave at the moment. I mean, he was superb on Monday. Nobody got anywhere near him at Monmouth on Monday, and it's a track that he hasn't always ridden that well either. So, there's no doubt he could win it. It was a tremendous final with him and Ty. I think a few people picked up on the fact that with Chris Holder finishing third, that Jason said afterwards there that it was three Aussies on the podium, which was it was their own again. So. Yeah. But no, it was a tremendous meeting. Really enjoyed it. Fabulous racetrack at Gorzoff, and I mean he's for me now. Jason Doyle's got nothing to lose. All the pressure, nothing to lose because nobody expected him to be in.
He's close to being in a position where he's got things to lose, though, isn't he? I mean, he's got a medal to lose at the moment.
I think he's a sort of rider that won't be fazed by it. To be honest,
he seems to be taking the bull by the horns.
I mean, the two favourites are Ty and Greg. I mean, Greg looked pretty slow, to be honest, on Monday. On Saturday, I should say. So, but if there's one rider that you wouldn't rule out and who's capable of picking up a big 20 points in a meeting,
well, the fact that he's at the head of the field at the moment says it all, doesn't it? I mean, how old is he now?
46.
46.
46.
46. Yeah.
There's hope for us yet. Well, maybe not.
Well, maybe not you. Yeah, there never has though. We got a score up at the moment. We got Kingsland 21, Lakeside 15. Lakeside
really need to get some away wins. Whether they're going to, I don't know. But
there's a bit of Brummie interest in that one because Danny King is guesting for Lakeside and he's scored 2 points from one ride. as we speak. And yeah, that's it as far as the Birmingham. There's not many teams around that. There isn't some Birmingham interest going on at one point or the other. I don't know what that says about us, but it's interesting anyway. And while we're chatting away, I'm sure Webby will get up the Isle of Wight versus Eastbourne match, and we can have a look at that. So yeah, I mean, if you were going to put your house on it, who would you think is going to win? Who would you say?
I still think Ty.
You still think Ty?
I still think Ty.
I think experience is going to.
I think it's actually benefited him coming back and riding in England again. Because his fixtures were drying up. Although having said that, his Polish team have managed to somehow get into the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
So his Swedish team have missed out, but he's got his Polish playoffs, and of course playoffs now with Wolves as well. So might be another trophy laden season for him. You never know.
I would say whoever I put my house on would probably lose because I'd have a house on top of them.
It's true.
Well,
Very true. Yeah.
I can't answer. We ought to perhaps have a look at who's in the bottom 8 actually, and who's on the cusp and who might not get.
Well, Niels Everson, I don't think is going to get through.
Yeah.
Nicky's obviously not far away. He's only 9th at the moment, so
that would be a big one.
I think, to be in fairness, I think he probably would get a pick anyway. So, I mean, with his record, I mean, people don't like Nicky, but I think the GP will be a duller place without him. So.
Okay, well we've got
very close scoreline on the island.
Yeah, my life. That's took me back by surprise a little bit. Isle of Wight Warriors 33, Eastbourne 33. I've got Daniel Hume guesting because obviously Adam Ellis will be riding for Paul tonight, but he's only dropped 1 point, so they're not losing out there. Also, Alice Perks. He's doing rather well at the moment, isn't he? This is a worry, but I haven't got anybody else that's doing particularly well. So, well, that's an interesting scoreline because they're not there yet, are they, Eastbourne?
No, they're not mathematically certain. Yeah, I think they probably will be there, but just need a little bit of work to do. So
it gives us a bit of hope seeing them struggle against a team that we've slaughtered home and away, doesn't it? So, anyway, there you go. And while we chat a little bit more, we'll see if we can get the Sheffield versus Rye House scores up as well. So yeah, Neil Christian Everson, possibly not. Nicky Pedersen.
I think Nicky will probably get in anyway by the back door. Whether people agree with that or not is up to them, I suppose. But
I'm right in thinking Chris Harris has already.
Well, Chris Harris has already gone out the qualifiers.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, I don't really see the point of Chris Harris being in the GPs because he's just not competitive. I mean, he had the one GP this season where he finished 3rd, but other than that, he
tends to have one season, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He just tends to have one. Perhaps his time's finished in the GP and...
Well, I've said this for a while now. I think really he's lived off his win at Cardiff in 2007, but that was 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? That's 9 years ago.
He's not really. I think there was one GP in, I think it was Italy, when he nearly beat Thomas Golby in the final, but apart from that, he's not really got anywhere close to
Is
doing
there any other British riders out there that you think might be ready?
I think Robert Lambert in time, but not ready yet.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I mean, he rode quite well on Monday. He rode well at Mumba earlier in the season as well. But he's probably the best bet, I think. Hopefully in the next few years you'll see some more British riders breaking through.
There's a few knocking about in the National League at the moment.
Yeah, there's a few, but I mean, there's a little bit of time. I just hope that this next generation of young riders really doesn't make the same mistakes as some of the ones that we've had in the past.
I'm going to make the case for somebody now for in a few years' time that perhaps certainly would have been a surprise to be mentioned in this sort of company a year ago, but perhaps not so much now given his current level of performance. And I'm basing this a little bit on Jason Doyle because he's quite late to GPs and quite late all of a sudden becoming this very formidable rider. But I just think there's been such a big change in one particular rider at Birmingham. I'm sure you can guess who I'm talking about, Daniel Hume. Is he the sort of rider that could kick on? Because he certainly looks like a Premier League rider right now, doesn't
Well,
he?
he's going well for Ipswich as well,
He
isn't he?
is,
So he
yeah.
could do it, yeah.
Mm.
What I was saying really, I just hope that some of these riders, they move up and they aren't tempted to sort of drop back down to National League or Premier League. I think that's Ashley Morris's mistake,
Mm.
dropping back into the National League. I don't think it's done him any favours. I
No,
think you've
no.
seen a lot of riders who've stayed in the Premier
Worked
League.
for Adam Ellis, of course.
It worked for Adam Ellis, yes, but I think there's other riders who've maybe stayed in the Premier League too long over the years. I'm talking around riders like Simon Stead, and I'd add Ben Barker to that list as well.
Yeah,
Stayed
I
in
was
the Premier
about to
League
say.
too long.
Mm.
They need to push themselves higher, and just
It's very well for us to say that, but if the places aren't available for them to do that, they've almost got no choice but to go where the work is, I suppose.
well, there is that, yes, but
Um,
it is a shame because
It
I think
feels very much that Polish teams, for instance, are very loath to sign British riders, and Swedish teams as well, to an extent. You have to wonder
I
what.
just think, really, as I say, I mean, it would be nice for a lot of these riders to learn, riding on tracks in different countries and different approaches to meetings. I think Danny King may well have benefited from riding abroad a bit more often than he has, to be honest. So
Yeah, because he's a tighter
as
rider.
good a season as he's had so far. I mean, winning the British title, and it was good to see him there.
Wasn't it great?
At
to see him
Perryville last night. So
he's obviously still got a bit of an affection for the club, which is nice to see. Okay, so we've got Sheffield versus Ryehouse going on at the moment. Let's have a look at that. And it's Sheffield Tigers 21, Ryehouse Rockets 12.
not a big surprise, is it?
No, not really. Two very different sorts of tracks, and Ryehouse not the force that they once were in that league. Is there any Birmingham? No, not interesting to see Nathan Greaves, Craigley rider, ex-Craigley rider, 2 points from 2 rides, but it looks like a very not a relegation.
Mid-table.
Yeah.
Mid-table.
Well, say mid-table. I mean, Sheffield are one of the.
Sheffield aren't too far away.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
not
not-
so sure they're going to do it now.
I mean,
but
we'll have a look at the Premier League table because we missed that last week. So we'll get that up.
in 2 seconds.
Okay, we'll get that up. Oh, wow, that was
There
quick.
you go,
It's
yeah.
good, you know. It's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
So
Sometimes.
we'll
You're
have a
slagging it
look
off earlier. So.
at- Yeah. We'll.
The first person said I'm quick.
I won't be the last. So we've got Somerset and Glasgow. Pretty much, you would think, nailed on for the top 2 spots. 58 points for Somerset. Wow. Because second is it's a bit like us in the National League. And 46 points for Glasgow. 20 and 21 matches. So they're there or thereabouts. Obviously 24 matches to a full season. Newcastle 18 matches with 38 points. I suppose they could take that second spot off Glasgow if they had a bit of a push, but it's doubtful really. And then it gets exciting. You got Edinburgh and Peterborough both on 35 points with just 2 matches between them. So 19 matches for Edinburgh and 21 matches for Peterborough, who seem to be doing everything they possibly can to make that playoff. They made, is it 5 changes?
5 changes. Doesn't sit comfortably with me, to be honest.
No, it doesn't with me, if I'm honest. Not that many.
Probably as I would probably say the same with Wolves. Maybe it doesn't sit comfortably bringing in Ty Woofington just for the playoffs. But
yeah, but it is
it's the
covering an
way-
injury, though, isn't it? So that's slightly.
Could say that.
Apologies for my belch then.
And Sheffield in 6th place with just 1 point less than the 2 above them, with 19 matches, the same number of matches as Edinburgh, and they're on 34 points. Well, going to get another 3 points today.
Yeah.
So that puts them in the playoff position. It's tight, isn't it?
It is tight.
Yeah,
So
that's exciting. Going to be interesting to see how that all. I feel sorry for Somerset if they don't win it.
they should win it.
They
I think
should
now. I
win
mean, they're the very dominant force in that league, to be honest.
A bit
So,
like us, but we could still lose it.
yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment or two.
Surely that's unlikely.
I beg your pardon.
I said, surely that's unlikely.
What is it we always say about Brummies?
Gala.
Yeah, looking for waiting for the
I
wheels
know.
to
Yeah, I
fall
know.
off.
Well,
Glass is
I know
always
from
half.
experience, it's not always
Yeah.
wise to count your chickens
No.
before they're hatched.
No, absolutely.
A bird in the hand.
Okay, well, let's have a talk about. We've had a couple of matches from Birmingham. We had the away win at Isle of Wight, of course.
Yeah.
Easier win than perhaps we expected.
So was this last night? Sorry.
No, the
Win
away
for-
win at Isle of Wight.
I think it was always going to be a comfortable win,
You really?
to be honest.
Because there's always this sort of worry about the track at Isle of Wight and
Yeah.
adapting to it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's a big track. It's not what everybody's used to.
I just think Birmingham at the moment are in that zone where it comes natural winning.
I
So
think you're absolutely right. And obviously there's a couple of rain-offs. We had the National League pairs rained off, and we had the match at Buxton rained off. And then last night we had the Isle of Wight visit us. If I'm honest, I was a little bit disappointed in the Isle of Wight. I thought their heat leaders in particular let the side down a little bit.
I thought. I mean, when I arrived, I thought, Isle of Wight could possibly not win. There's no way that the Isle of Wight were going to win. It would be logical to suggest that they could, but I thought they could probably push Birmingham a lot harder than some of the other teams have. But once again, it was fairly straightforward for the Brummies. And that's really the disappointment, I think, in this league, is that it's just Birmingham not really being tested by most of these teams.
I think we're about to be tested.
About to be, yeah.
I think we'll come on to that in a moment. I think so many teams, and I think this is true of the Isle of Wight, perhaps because their last match was against us,
Yeah,
are beaten before they start.
I would
against
say
us at
so,
the
yeah.
moment. I think that, but their reserves really showed the rest of the team up, I thought.
the reserves rode well. I thought the reserves rode very well.
I was expecting a bit more from Lee Smart.
Lee Smart was terrible. I thought he was probably the worst rider on view.
Yeah.
Certainly from the away side's point of view.
Smarty's been a bit of a journeyman, hasn't he?
Pale shadow really of
the rider that rode for us in
for Birmingham.
2007, yeah. His style seemed different as well. Didn't
He
seem
doesn't look as if he's in domestic condition either, to be honest. So,
Well.
but
we got just keeping you up to date with a few things. Kings Lynn 25, Lakeside 23.
I think there's an update on the Sheffield one as well.
Okay,
That's
30-15. Sheffield.
You're gonna
versus
win that on the
Royhouse.
Sheffield,
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I don't think there's any point looking at that one anymore. I think that's a done deal, isn't it?
Mm.
I thought Mitchell Davey looked good for us last night. The opposition wasn't. Obviously, we've got to start looking at riders like this now, because coming up into matches against Kent and so on, we can't afford to have guests that don't perform as we've had in the past. I mean, you've got to think that Daniel
you're
Halsey.
looking at Mitchell Davey, Daniel Halsey there. I think their phone numbers are going to be saved onto Graham Drury's mobile, aren't they, for getting guest bookings? So.
I think
Because I suspect you won't see Zach Vitnick again this season.
it doesn't look that way, does it?
No, I don't think he's had the cast off yet, has he? So
No, it doesn't look that way, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Isle of Wight 36, Eastbourne 36.
That's
Close
amazing.
one. You see, that they got beat by us before we turned up,
yeah,
but they're giving it a go against Eastbourne, who have got some good riders in there. Well, that's Lee Smart's doing a lot better. James Cockwood, well, they're all doing a lot better. Good on you guys. I'd love to see Eastbourne not get there. I just would. It'd be nice. So yeah, we was talking about. So Mitchell David did a good job for us, but there's really one rider to talk about. There's a couple actually, because Tom Bacon was on a maximum until he had that really nasty
looking for
four, which he's okay by the way. He's bent his bike, from what I understand.
That's right.
Is what happened. So he was on a maximum until that, and probably would have got it.
Got a maximum,
yeah. Tom Perry back to
something like his old self.
Yeah.
So.
But the track was nice last night, wasn't it? There was a lot of.
There was a good outside line, wasn't it? If you got on the outside line, you
got a lot of
generated a lot of
grip,
speed. So.
Yeah, so that was his sort of track last night. But of course, the big one. Oh, before I mention that, Daryl Richards was. I'm
Yes,
sorry,
better.
Daryl, much better performance.
Much better performance, yeah.
Using the
So-
track and not. Had some. It was in some of the better races. In fact, was Daryl. He needs to get out of gate a bit quicker and make it a bit
Little
boring,
bit.
please. But Daniel Hume
getting his first maximum. So
and in style as well. He wasn't always making that gate, but by the end of the first corner, he was. He was going round riders round the outside on the first bend.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, Daniel Hume, any club could have signed him. There wasn't exactly a club's queuing around the block to get him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was on a 3-point average, so it's to Birmingham's credit that they gave him a chance.
I think he was,
and they're reaping the
I think it was a
rewards.
4-point average, wasn't
Might
it?
have been a little bit higher.
Yeah,
Might have been a little bit higher than 3. So
I mean, we'll have a look at. Actually, we will have a look at the averages in some points.
closer to down at Wimborne Road.
Yeah, 19 to Paul and 17 to Bellevue. Okay.
Well, Bellevue have got riders who go well there, so
Yeah. That's Bjarne Pedersen's do. At reserve for some reason. I need to sort that out next year. They really, really do. So Daniel Hume, I mean, we've mentioned he's been doing really well in Ipswich. He looks like a Premier League rider, doesn't he?
I think he will be in the Premier League next year.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Do you think he'll still be in the National League as well? He might as well. We can get that. Yeah.
might benefit him for one season, but I wouldn't.
Oh well,
wouldn't
yeah,
win more than that.
It might benefit his wage packet is the thing.
Although
Yeah.
if Birmingham are in the Premier League next season, then it's.
Well, that'd be
But that's a big debate for the future, I think. So
I think
I'll just
so.
reload that.
Okay, so we might even have a look at Kings Lynn versus Lakeside as well. Isle of Wight 36, Eastbourne still 36.
I'll just reload that one, so that needs to reload.
Kings Lynn versus Lakeside. The score currently is 28 to Kings Lynn, 26 to Lakeside. They're giving it a go.
well, so I think
Lakeside.
Stan Lakeside will get a point, but it's
Mm.
it's no good really. They need to start winning matches away
Yeah,
from
but they
home.
were a little way behind originally, so they pulled back a
Yeah.
few points there, haven't they? So
Kings Lynn, I mean, watching Kings Lynn on Monday, I don't know how on earth they managed to win at Bellevue because they were poor.
So anyway, we should talk about Cradley.
No, do we have to?
They've become very important to us because I mean, for instance, they are away at Kent on Monday, isn't it?
Yes.
It would be nice to think that they could dent Kent's confidence a little bit.
Rhymes, yes.
Yeah. Hey. It'd be nice to think they could dent Kent's confidence a little bit for us before they come to our track in the semi-final of the Knockout Cup next week. And obviously, and also Cradley have got them at home as their next home match is Kent. Again,
No, Stoke is their next home match. Cradley's Kent's. week
yes, and the
after,
Kent's
so-
the one, yeah, but they have
Yeah.
but so it'd be nice to. I can't believe I might even go to that match and root for Cradley. I might have to have a shower afterwards. Again, it's be nice to dent Kent's confidence, and I just want Cradley to get into the playoffs. I really do.
I'll dent something after that comment.
I want to have the chance to beat them again, of course, but just from a monetary point of view.
To be honest, I think if Birmingham and Cradley rode each other in the playoffs, at Perry Bar, I don't think the crowd would be that great because I don't think many Cradley fans would come. Because the impression they'll get with a lot of Cradley fans is that they don't think they've got a chance, so they're not going to bother coming.
Yeah, but you're going to get more Cradley fans. You might not be so many come, but you're going to get more Cradley fans that might outjourney than Kent fans from such a distance, perhaps.
Maybe not. Eastbourne always bring quite a lot.
Bellevue
anyway,
fans, who it's their second team anyway.
Yeah.
Eastbourne, you'll get a lot of fans, but you ain't going to choose Eastbourne in the semi-final, are you?
Well, not unless you're mad. So.
So yeah, I just think it'd be nice to do that, and it's an easy away match to travel to as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's that side of it. But we shall see. Is there anything on the shout box about that? Am I talking
Not at the moment.
total guff? Okay, so get yourselves on that shout box, people. We should talk about, and I forgot what it was I was going to say, but I wanted to talk about.
So
And we'll
we
talk
can't
about
talk
it.
about
If we
it.
can't talk about it, it will come in. It will come into my head. We should have a look at the league table just to sort of wallow in the glory of how many points we are actually in front of everybody, and then say, but it means nothing, because it doesn't mean nothing at this point. So we've got 2 more matches over Kent. We got 63 points. They got 48. That's just flipping ridiculous. Isn't it? That really is. What a team we've put together this year. That Ground Drury has put together. Incredible. And then you've got a few teams vying for that place. You've got Eastbourne on 35 in third, Cradley in fourth on 31. You've got Mildenhall on 30. You've got Bellevue on 29. And just to throw in the mix, Kings Lynn on 25.
I'm not so sure Kings Lynn, because their away form's not very good, is it? So
no, yeah. Mildenhall, still in with the shout.
Mildenhall's still there, yeah. So it's definitely close in the. I mean, that's really the only interest in the league now, because
Isn't it?
Birmingham obviously with such a big lead.
We can just sit back and watch it and see how everybody does. We're going to choose Cradley if they're in, aren't we? Now,
if Cradley get in, I think Birmingham will choose Cradley.
Yeah.
But I think they'll choose Bellevue if they get in. To be honest, so
yeah. Whoever.
Then just let Eastbourne and Kent sort each other out if they get the other 2 spots.
Yeah, well, that would be nice. I would hope that Kent beat Eastbourne, if I'm honest. If that gets to the semi-final, because I think we do better against Kent than we do against Eastbourne. We've not lost at their track this year, Kent.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously that's the only league defeat we've had this year has been at Eastbourne. I suspect that we're going to end up with Eastbourne in the Knockout Cup final anyway. So
yeah. Another Knockout Cup final.
That'd be interesting as well, wouldn't it? Yeah, we might look at that if that happens. Okay.
You'll dress like it's 1974, will you? So,
no chance there then.
You beat me to it.
So we got Poole Pirates versus the Bellevue Aces going on at the moment, and the score is coming up any second. Next, give it a kick. 24-18. So there's a little bit more of daylight between them, but not a lot. Idlewhite versus Eastbourne. I want to see what's going on with that one, because that's an incredible score, I think. Was 36 all, and now it's 36 all. Slow match.
What an anticlimax that was,
wasn't it? Just.
I can't believe they managed to get that many more points since the last time we checked.
So we have Kent coming down to visit us. The first thing that we've got to be worrying about, I guess, is Jack Parkinson Blackburn. We still
wish him all the best, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the most important thing. Get better. Nothing else is important. It's just not. From the point of view of a team, we ain't got many options to replace him, because we've been looking at the averages which came out yesterday, the new averages, and Jack Parkinson Blackburn stays at reserve, 6.17. And we have to replace a 6.17 rider with
a 3-point man.
A 3-point man. That's not right, is it? Well, you can't. Is irreplaceable. We can't sign anybody because.
Well, you would argue that very few reserves have a 6-point average. So.
Well, but that's because we chose a good reserve. Yeah. He was there.
Didn't know that at the start of the season, though. So.
We sort of did actually, didn't we? Because we had a sample of him at the end of last season, so I think we probably did.
They could have thought a bit more. Well, was the base where they don't usually think forward, do they? So.
Yeah. But so that's a possible problem, because Kent are one of the few National League teams that have got
strong reserves
that are doing better than their 3-point starting average. So we need our riders. We need them on song. That's going to be difficult for them. So yeah, I mean, do you think if JPB's not there, we don't win that match? It certainly becomes much more difficult.
Certainly weakens Birmingham. I mean, Kent have done well at Perry Bar, haven't they, this season in the meetings that they've been to? Yeah, I mean, it could definitely open it more in terms of a contest.
I think the key is choosing the right guest in place of Zach Veit, isn't it? Let's be honest, at the moment our number one is Daniel Hume.
Yeah.
He's riding like a number one, which is why it's good for him to be at number two.
I think that's going to be Birmingham's biggest asset against Kent, is the fact that they've got such a strong top end that are all riding well at the moment.
Yeah, Tom Bacon's riding brilliantly. I mean, there's not one. Daryl Richard's one of the best. If the track's like it was yesterday, Tom Perry's going to love it.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for it not to be. It's going to be squeaky bum time, isn't it? It's funny because we've done better against Kent at their place than we have
At home.
at
So
home.
that's right.
So whatever happens against Kent next week, we don't despair. I wonder a little bit if Kent, all this stuff that's been going on between the two teams makes it a bit more juicy, doesn't it? But you feel a little bit that Kent are a bit in awe of us. Do you know what I mean? That there's a bit of a
bit wary.
as if we've got the Indian sign over them since that first match.
Well, you'd argue who Birmingham haven't got the Indian side over in the National League at the moment.
Yeah, but they came to our track, didn't they, and got a 45 draw.
Yeah.
And we were all, whoa, hold on, maybe we're not the best team in the league after all. At that point, there might be somebody else that's better than us. I mean, to be fair, we all said that the track was not great that night. And
No,
didn't,
it was poor.
Perhaps if they came to us on another night when the track was better, it would have been a different story. But ifs and buts.
Yeah.
We're going to win them, aren't we? We've got to beat them, surely.
I think Birmingham will win.
Yeah. I
would say that. I mean, Birmingham have done well at Kent, so I think they're more than capable of going there and doing the same thing again. So,
in fact, I would say if we beat Kent in the Knockout Cup, I feel much more confident about the playoffs.
Yeah.
It just because I am a little bit worried about it. I mean, we've got this massive lead, but it means nothing. And you just worry when push comes to the shove, an injury, or
it's all about hitting form at the right time, isn't it? So
every one of the next matches that we've got now, apart from some of the silly away matches that we've got to run, every one of our matches now
is a pressure meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be something on it, isn't there? And that's when
which in some ways might be to Birmingham's disadvantage, because most of the meetings there hasn't been any pressure at all because they've just been winning.
But also that's when people make mistakes and when injuries happen and people for both sides are trying that little bit more.
Because I mean, to be brutally honest, I would say about 95% of the matches at Perry Bar this season haven't been particularly competitive, have they?
The Kent match was about the only one, really, wasn't it? And
I mean, I didn't go to the Eastbourne meeting in the league meeting, but I think Birmingham won that fairly comfortably.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, but they didn't have Adam Ellis.
Yeah,
which
weakened them.
They've got Adam Ellis and Alex Perks, who's going like a house on fire at the moment as well. Talking of which, can we have a look at the Isle of Wight Eastbourne match, please? I want to see how that's going. 36. That's going to be anticlimax again. You watch 36-36 currently, and now it's 36-36. Goodness me!
I'm guessing something's happening.
Okay. Well,
that way for a while, isn't it? So,
has there been something happening? You need to go a bit further down than that, mate. Oh, yeah, there's something happened. They haven't gone into it.
Long interval.
They're in a cup of tea and a slice of cake.
There we go. So let's. Well, we mentioned it. If you want to go to the BSPA site for us and get the National League averages, we can have a look at what's happening average-wise. It makes great reading. It's there's one thing for sure: this team ain't staying together.
No chance
next year, is it? So if you go to the right to the bottom of their declarations and green sheet averages, won't give over much, and go to the bottom and download that. It'll be a PDF. There you go. That's the one.
That one.
That's it. Okay, so we'll take a look at that.
It's great radio.
It's great, isn't it? We're busy watching a blank
I've got a
screen.
bit of a dance.
Got the atmosphere of the knife.
Okay, so Birmingham, they cut their averages. What was the declaration that they had to make? Was it 42.5? I think it was they had to build to.
I think it was 42.5. Yeah.
It's currently 51.39 that we're averaging.
Just a tad over.
So I mean, we just go through them. Obviously, Zach still at number one, but his average hasn't changed for a while. 8.59. You've got Tom Perry on 8.12. You've got Daryl Richins on 7.14. You've got Tom Bacon on 7.83. You've got Daniel Hume on 7.04. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders on a 7-point or above average. That's just crazy. And then Jack Parkinson Blackburn on 6.71, so close to a 7-point average. And Jack Smith, surprisingly, I think, on a 5.95 average. Nobody can touch us, can they?
No, on
I'm
paper.
still worried. Well, we don't race on paper. That's the problem with that one. We look at Coventry, 38.91.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So Bellevue. Let's have a look at our main rivals. So Bellevue 44.16. Dan Bewley, his average has gone down a little bit now. It's 8.65. As it was in the
What's
time, but
Cradley's?
Cradley are 43.84. So I got Max Clegg and Ashley Morris, of course, on 9-point averages, and Luke Chessel on an 8.57. So they're not pushovers.
They're not pushovers now, but they're very, very reliant, I think, on the top two, aren't they? So
You look at the next best to us, I think, is Eastbourne with 46.66. Adam Ellis on 10.63 average. Jake Knight 8.452. Georgie Wood 7.64. Ellis Perks looks good on a 7.24 average, doesn't it?
just a bit.
Gary Cotham 4.7. Charlie Powell 3.9. And Luke Harris on a 4. So their reserves are no pushovers. They've improved by a point or close to a point. Yeah. I just think so many teams are beat before they get to us.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Yeah. But playoffs is a different kettle of fishes. So they're in a position, of course. Every team that comes to us from this point on, they've got nothing to lose, have they?
That's right. All the pressure is going to be on the Brummies.
So we don't like that. We're not good. We're not good in that position. But come on, the lads have got us here in style. So hopefully.
Do you think, because of the Brummies doing so well this season, that it slightly demotes the right word?
I don't know.
The actual league. Does it take? Do you know what I'm saying?
It's certainly thrown up some.
I think
worries.
I think the National League, the structure of the National League, needs to be looked at, because in reality, it wasn't really, when the league was put together, it wasn't really designed for clubs like Eastbourne and Birmingham.
No.
I mean, an outsider would look at it as okay, it's like a training league, but there's one team that's going crazy.
Yeah, but then
really
again,
wants to win it.
But then again, well, I mean, part of that is because there is different criteria for your team building. Some, your Coventry's and your Bellevue's. Well, Bellevue have done really well.
Yeah.
So are building a team to train them for, elite league or Premier League, depending on where they're from. Whereas we building a team to win.
Standalone teams. So
that's the difference. But you know what? I think a lot of it is teams like us and Eastbourne and so making a point. The asset thing. I think that's.
I mean, there's all this talk about possibly Birmingham maybe moving up. I don't see Eastbourne moving up. I think they're happy to stay in that league. And
you think they'd be quite happy for us to go up?
I think so. Yeah, I think Eastbourne are quite happy to stay in that league and bully teams.
I know what we should talk about. Actually. What I remember before, and I forgot what it was. We should talk about. I mean, it is good news, and we was talking about good news earlier. The news that there's a possible site for Cradley.
Oh, that's good.
I haven't seen much of it, to be honest. I've heard the stories. We've heard these stories before, haven't we?
Well, we have, but they don't very often.
They've sort of died away a little bit, but it's important for Cradley. If they've got any long-term future, they have to get their own site.
The good thing about this latest report is that it's actually got councillors are talking about it as a possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a positive.
I've got no idea where it is.
No, I don't.
Which is Cradley.
Are they looking at Cradley?
It's in the Cradley area, apparently. So, it's in the
which is
area.
good, because I think that's been the mistake they've made in the past of sort of speaking out before they've got any assurances, and then somebody comes along and says, "Oh, I don't want it there." So
that being the case, the playing devil's advocate here, timing's interesting. When there's a lot of grumbling going on by Cradley supporters, do you think that might have something to do with this announcement?
Possibly.
Being cynical,
possibly,
as I've been accused of before. So we're getting the Isle of Wight scores up, and it is Okay,
Bit of a change,
not
eh?
so good. 40-44 in favour of Eastbourne. Come on, Isle of Wight. Come on. You can do it. Maybe.
It's going to be a weird night for Kelsey Durgard, isn't it? Because he's in the opposite side of the pitch to the rest of his family. So,
Yes.
so
Well, that will. I think there might be a little bit of no going on there. But anyway.
if it's the Durgards, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
So anyway, that is good news for Cradley if it all turns. It's very early. Watch this space.
Oh, Lakeside winning at Kings Lynn.
29-31 Kings Lynn versus Lakeside. Is that good news from a Wolverhampton point of view? You don't like Lakeside to ride at, do you?
Well, I think if Lakeside get fourth, I think Bellevue will pick him anyway. So,
yeah.
or Bellevue or Paul, whoever gets the top spot will pick Lakeside if they get the fourth spot.
Yeah.
To me,
Danny King doing well. Got 2 and 3.
he says with crossed fingers. So I don't want to race Lakeside. I don't know that.
Yeah. How's the Paul Swindon thing? No, Paul Bellevue.
Paul Bellevue,
isn't it?
yeah.
I just realised.
31-23.
23. So
Bellevue's still hanging on to their coattails a little bit.
35-25.
No, not so much now. So
That's 10 points in it.
Max Frick's been disappointing there. Only 2 rides, 2 lasts. So.
Big difference between National League and the other 2 leagues this year has been the absence of the black and white helmet.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that at all. It's not been. Have you missed it?
I don't think it's made, well, in the meetings that I've seen, I don't think it's made that much of a difference, really, because...
Could it maybe have made some of our matches a little bit closer, a little bit more
possibly,
competitive,
yeah, possibly.
a little bit more...
I mean, the one thing about yesterday was Isle of Wight got a 5-0 and still only just managed to get to 30 points.
Yeah. Well, yes. I think, from a personal point of view, I've never liked the black and white helmet. I've never liked this. No, it's not so much the black and white helmet. It's the double points. It's making more points available.
I've always preferred the double points if you get that rider starting 15 metres back. If I'm honest, because I think if you start 15 metres back and still
Why
win
15?
the race,
Why not 10? Why not 5? That would be better, wouldn't it?
not 5. I think 5's a bit too close.
But so 7 or 8, something
Yeah.
like that. Makes it
so,
a little bit more.
I'm not suggesting they start them. They have to start in the pits and do a running start while everybody goes round the bend or anything like that. But not at Walls because you'd be shattered by the time you got there.
But
it would add another
Why are we
layer.
stuck on 15 metres? Why couldn't it? If it is to give that, particularly in the black and white helmet situation, if it to give somebody a disadvantage, then 10 metres is still a disadvantage. 7 metres is still a disadvantage. But you're giving them that more chance to be in amongst the riders by the first bend and then do
It's never really
something.
been explained why it's 15, is it? So, I mean, obviously there's not that much space between the lane and pushing them back towards the.
Well,
the
given
turn,
that in Heat 15 you can put somebody off 15 metres on gate 1 now, that's sort of neither here nor there, is it?
Much is it? So,
but or you can in the other 2 leagues. Okay. So what I was going to say on that was that I've missed having. There should be a tactical element. There should always be a tactical element. It gives the supporters something to talk about.
I'm interested to see what this new race formula that they've been doing trials on is.
I do
Is that
really,
for the Elite League? Is it? Or?
I don't know whether it's
Okay.
just for the Elite League or.
I do really like the idea of a handicap with it because then, you have to think, yeah, it would get more points, but is this rider good enough to?
Yeah,
and it
the
adds
way
like
through.
another layer to the
Yeah.
whole.
I think handicap's a good idea, but I think 15 metres, particularly at tracks like Eastbourne and Lakeside, is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50, that's a long. That's a long.
Well, it's half
Yeah.
a quarter of the straight virtually, isn't it? So,
It depends on the size of the track, doesn't it? So obviously you got a track like Monmouth, which is a smaller track. Then it's
so then
also-
maybe there should be a formula for what that. A percentage of the length of the
yeah,
the
maybe.
straight. Maybe that
Maybe.
would be, I don't know. It's getting a bit complicated for us Speedway people, though. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't know. But I think there should be a tactical element. And the tactical element, the thing that always annoys me is that they state what the tactical, when we've had a tactical element, they state what it's for. They say it's to make matches closer. That's what
I
they
don't
say.
well, the thing is, I don't really want meetings artificially close.
No,
Ideally,
and that
I
shouldn't
want
be what it's for.
fairness.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not. And
You
it's
know.
it's simple in my mind. It's simple, and I'm only a simple person, as you all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get no arguments from us.
It's very simple. You give the tactical element, whether it be black and white or the old tactical substitute or something new and shiny that I think up, you give the tactical element to the away team only.
Yeah.
And you say its stated aim is to combat home track advantage. I think that's fair enough.
Possibly, yeah.
You know, and it's easy to explain to new people. It doesn't seem it's a knockout.
Yeah.
Which, you know, the double points does a little bit, and particularly it rankles if you're an away team and you're doing well, and then when you think that player final Peterborough,
Reading.
I mean, you know.
But I'll point the finger more at the Reading team manager for that, because he got caught out on it both
Well,
times,
he did, didn't
so.
he? But well, they thought they'd won it, didn't they? That was the
Yeah.
But you know, but it does that, and it rankles as if the home team gets that when they've already got that advantage of being at home. So that's what I think anyway. Well, we're going to wrap up in a moment, but we'll go through some of the scores. We've got Kingsland 29, Lakeside 31. Giving it a go, aren't they?
They're giving it a go, yeah. So, but Kingston aren't in the best form at the moment, admittedly, but
We've got
35, 25.
Pool Pirates 35, Bellevue Aces 43. I'm joking, 25. It's just saw you twitch when I said that. Isle of Wight 40, Eastbourne 44 it was. It's still 40, 44.
Still is. I think this is the latest.
Sheffield-
Reload it anyway.
Sheffield 37, Rye House 26.
They got back into it a little bit, haven't they, Rye House? But
Yeah.
not enough to win it, but
So that's all of the matches tonight, isn't it? So Swindon Leicester was going one way.
Yeah.
Sheffield 37, Rye House 26. So, gentlemen, next time we meet,
it'll be in 2 weeks. So
yeah, well, maybe we'll see if we can sort something out, but we'll talk about that afterwards.
yeah,
But next time we meet, we'll certainly have had one, maybe 2 legs of the Knockout Cup.
we'll have a clearer idea if we'll meet each other in the
in the Elite League.
in the Elite League
players
players and the National League players,
Yeah.
maybe as well. So
Well, I hope so. We need, they need to sort that out. Hopefully, I'd love it to be Cradley, but and you would like it to be for Wolverhampton. Who would your preference be?
I think it'll be Paul.
Paul. Okay. Not a bad time to meet Paul. I
Yeah.
think. Okay. Take care, everyone. This was the Speedway Tavern. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye bye.
Good night.
Right, good night.
I was struggling to get okay now.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What do you need to know? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Michael, Matt, and Chris are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Hi, welcome to